Seamus Conneely, I think there's been a bit of a contrast this week, hasn't there? I think Saturday and the league and the performance and the win over Wrexham brought a certain feeling after the game, and then obviously with very different personnel in the week, the trophy game, I think it was pretty clear to us that the manager wasn't impressed. I'm sure it was even more clear in the changing room. How important is it that you pick up from Saturday rather than letting the things that perhaps went wrong on Tuesday spread?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's important we focus on the positives from Saturday, but I think you can learn from, your poor performances as well, or when you're not at it. And I think it's clear that the standards we set on Saturday weren't met, particularly in the first half on Tuesday against Nottingham Forest. So I think that the players that played in that game that will play Saturday, I think they should be looking to have a reaction. And the players that played Saturday that play again this Saturday, I think you're looking to carry on the things that we did well, which ended up in us picking up 3 points against Wrexham.
That Wrexham performance, not even so much the things you did with the ball, but the competitive way that you went about everything and winning those battles and those 50-50s. How difficult is it to do that 46 times in a season for 90-odd minutes every week?
It is difficult. I mean, I've had conversations with players and I've had conversations with the manager about the standards you need to set and how you need to meet them, not just every game, but every training session. And that is really tough. I find it really tough. And I've done it now for quite a while here. So that the younger lads, I can understand how they will find it difficult to come in on a Monday morning, having put everything in on a Saturday and having to raise their game again. And it's not just meeting them standards. You need to try and raise it as the season goes on, because other teams will be improving. And if you want to stay competitive, you've got to keep getting better and better. So it is difficult. That's one of the toughest things about being a footballer, I think, being a professional footballer, the mental side of the game. When you've got time to get away and switch off, you do, but as soon as you come back in, you have to meet them standards again, and you have to put everything into your training session so that you carry that on into a match day on a Tuesday evening or on a Saturday at 3 o'clock.
How much do the guys who aren't playing drive those standards? Do they have to train at a level that keeps those that are starting at that level? Absolutely,
yeah. I mean, you want your training sessions to be as competitive as possible. So if lads aren't in the team, the way to get into the team is to show that you're ready, you're at it. I mean, Jimmy's always going on about, be ready when you're picked, when you get the shirt. You're ready to go. You show us why you should be in the team, and you don't let the jersey go. You're back in the team and you stay in the team. And it benefits everyone at the end if everyone is at a certain level and they're able to stay at that level, whether it be in training or games. It's going to benefit the team at the end of the day.
What does it mean to the players to be in a playoff position? I know it's still relatively early in the season, but particularly those guys that were here last season for the relegation, is that important psychologically?
I think so. I think it's nice at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock as it was on Saturday to look at the table after a win to see that you're back in the playoff places. Whether it'll have a bearing on where we finish at the end of the season, I don't know, but it is nice. I mean, it's nice to be in the top 7. I mean, it's great. It'd be great to be in the top 3. But yeah, I think it's all cliche. You take it one game at a time and you add it up at the end of the season and you see where you are.
How many times this season, whether you've been playing or whether you've been watching from the sidelines, as has happened for a spell in the season, have you seen a team and thought they're going to be contenders? Not necessarily they're better than us, but they're a team that we need to be wary of. Is that something that's happened a lot?
A couple of times maybe. I mean, I thought I was impressed with Mansfield. I was impressed with Stockport. I mean, they're 2 games where we got beaten quite handsomely at home. But it's difficult because you only see a team twice a year in person. So, they could have had a very good day that day. Or you could see a team and they have an off day and you think, but they're not up to much. But then, they go on a great run after they play you. So often down to the team they feel that day. They might have had injuries or suspensions. So it is difficult. It's, when people ask you who do you think is going to be in the who are going to be in the top 3 come the end of the season, it's difficult to give an educated guess because you only see teams, in person, like I say, twice a year, and you see highlights of games. But yeah, I mean, I suppose November we're into December. The league is starting to take shape, and I think most players, most managers, most fans will be able to see, which teams will be up and in and around the automatic spots come the end of the year.
You've seen Bradford once already, of course, in the League Cup. Plenty has changed in a short space of time. They've changed their manager. The personnel will be different. Does that shape the expectations, or does it kind of flip it the other way and say, actually, we can't read too much into the last time because it is very different now?
Yeah, I don't think we can read too much time into that League Cup game. As you said, they've got a new manager. I managed to watch a bit of their game actually on Saturday before we went out. It was on in the dressing room. I thought they did very well in the second half. And then obviously they've had a very good win midweek in the EFL Trophy. So I'm expecting a very, very, very tough game against Bradford. Big crowd. They'll get behind the team. The manager will be trying to lay down a marker, new into a job, and I'm sure their players will be trying to impress him to show that they want to be in his first 11. So yeah, we'll have our work cut out.
Probably somewhere in the region of 15,000-20,000 inside Valley Parade. That'll be new ground for some of your younger players, I imagine. They seem to thrive in a full house against Wrexham here. Are you confident the same will apply in a hostile away atmosphere like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that if you're a footballer, they're the games you want to play in, and our young lads, they're learning, but they're very hungry. They want to make careers as professional footballers. They want to go on and play as high as they possibly can. And I think they'll, as you say, they really stepped up to the marker on Saturday in a full house here at the Wham Stadium. So they'll be looking forward to playing in a big ground, historic ground, with a big support on the day. I think they'll be fine.
And you've got a little break because of the FA Cup situation coming up in a week's time. How important, sort of milestone-wise, would it be to get a couple of results in the two games beforehand and be in that playoff position going into that weekend?
It's nice because on the back of a defeat, you always want to put things right quickly. So if we don't have a league game after Swindon for another 10 or 11 days, that'll be the frustrating part. But I think, you'd rest a bit easier if you were able to pick up points in the next two games. And then have a weekend off, EFL Trophy then before you play the next league game. So hopefully that'll be the case.